Hey there friend, it's Mark from Men Who Bullet. Thanks for hanging out with me today as I set up my new weekly plan for me for this week. I'm going to switch things up just a little bit. I've been kind of doing the same general layout for the past few weeks, everything kind of falling inside of the same space. And while the columns are all really important for me because I am using a B5 size notebook, I just wanted to try something a bit different. I also need a better calendar setup. So I have this really cool calendar stamp that I got. It's from Midori. I'm going to use it this week, and that's going to go right up here in the corner to kind of give me a look at the rest of this month. I was actually thinking, because we're right here at the end, I might just do kind of like a start and a stop. So maybe do like the last week or two of this month, since it is only like 2 more weeks, and then kind of give a little bit of a preview of June. So I'm going to have to work through that one just a little bit. I'll figure it out, don't worry, but that's going up in the top. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of a broader layout. Instead of doing an overview for each one of the days and then just room for notes, I'm going to go back to kind of contain that a little bit, but I gave myself a ton of space to do that. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like from a standpoint of like the grid layout and what I'm doing with it. And then we'll talk over materials and then go ahead and set it up for this. So we're going to be doing the double page spread, as we always do, just because I know that I need that space for all of my notes and things that are going on. So as I mentioned, I'm going to have the big calendar up here in the top. So that'll take up a good amount of space here. What I'm going to do is kind of easy from a standpoint that I'm going to be splitting this page into halves on both sides, and then I'll be doing the same thing horizontally across. So to do that, I just need to go back to my grid space in the back of my notebook here to figure out what that looks like. So at the very top here on this page, I have what it looks like to create a 2-column grid inside of my notebook, and that's going to be using 15 squares from the left all the way over. That'll leave 2 squares in between with another 15 for the right-hand side. And then we'll be doing the same exact thing over here. 15, 2 in between, and another 15 squares on the right-hand side. And then a really quick and easy split down the center using the same kind of spacing, general spacing, is going to be 22 squares from the top, 2 squares in between before you start that last one, which will be 22. Now, some other little things I'll be doing for this week is a little bit of a setup. So I'll have kind of like a banner here for the top that'll have the day of the week or the number, and I'll do that for each and every one of the days of the week. So that'll get me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And instead of doing a weekend spot here, I'm going to have a next week space, and that'll just help me plan and think about anything I need to add for that following week. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll set this whole thing up, and let's talk about some materials. All right, so this might feel like it's a lot of things, but it's not. It's just looks like a lot in my hands. I'll get to all of the things. So first and foremost, I need a ruler. So I just have my Archer and Olive plastic ruler here that has seen everything in its entire life. I'm hoping that it holds up a little bit longer. This centerpiece is it's holding on barely, but it's still a strong one. We'll be using a pencil to kind of mark everything out and get our lines straight. I have a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen in small. We'll be using that for our banners that we have, and any kind of line spaces that I might need. I also have my favorite stamp artist ever, Eric Small Things. This is one of these little like line stamps, so it actually has this whole pattern on it here. We're going to be using that for a horizontal pattern before it reaches the flag that we're going to have over here for the date. And we're just going to reuse this for each one of the days of the week. It's kind of like a little bit of like a header spacer deal. You can get these from a lot of different shops. I got this one from Desk Gems. I'll put a link for this down in the descriptions below for you if you're interested in potentially picking that up. Now, inside of here, we've got a lot of space, and I'm going to kind of like color that in a little bit. You might have seen a few weeks ago, I got these brand new Emote colored pencils. These look very similar to the Emote pens. If you haven't seen these before, like very close, these are fine liners that have like a plastic tip instead of having that like fiber tip that gets lost inside of the pens. These are colored pencils, so it's like a retractable pencil, but it has colored lead in here, really strong, really nice, comes in so many different colors, and also comes with refillable pieces here too. And you can check these all out over on their website because they're awesome and I love it. So I have some different different colors to pick from here and to use, but that's kind of extra. Right now we need to set up our spacing, get our stamps on here, and then we'll color them in and do everything else later. Oh, I forgot the last thing, stencil for the flag. So I got this from last month's accessory box from Archer and Olive. It came with a stencil inside of here, and it has some really cool different things to use. So I'm going to be using this up in the top corner here for that day of the week, and then I'll just put that next to everything else as we go through. So it'll be fun, but let's set it to the side for now. We'll come back to that in just a second. I want to make sure I have the rest of the page set up. So I've already gone in and penciled everything in for what I'm going to need. I have my 22 squares from the top to the bottom, and I have my 15 squares from the left to the right. There's going to be a little bit of extra space over here for the stamp. It doesn't actually use up that whole entire space. That's totally cool. Not worried about trying to create that center. That'll create more of a mess than I need, but it'll be here. And then I'm actually going to use this section over here just for some general notes and things going on. I'll have the daily task and notes that I'll also kind of just add in these spaces when I'm rapid logging, but this will be a general use space, notes or some other things like that that I might need to get to. So let's go ahead and put down the stamp first. This is a self-inking stamp. It's my favorite. It really is awesome. Love the way it looks. Go ahead and press that down on here. I have myself the days of the week. And then you just go ahead and fill this in for whatever you want. So we have that over there. That's in its space. The next thing that I need to do is actually go through with my little stamp deal. It's right here. I'm going to go ahead and ink this with some VersaFine ink. I'm just going to be using black. This will all pretty much just be black ink everywhere this week, and then we'll add a little pops of color with those colored pencils in a little bit. So the way I'm setting this up is all the way over on the left-hand side is where I'm going to be pressing these down. Now I do need to have a little bit of extra space for where I'm going to be putting in this flag. So to make sure that I don't go over that, make sure I have enough space, I'm actually going to follow this up, and I'm just going to pencil this in real quick in these spaces over here on the left-hand side. And then I'll just use a piece of paper over top of that just to make sure that I don't go into this flag space. I'll do the same thing on the other side in just a moment, but let's get these down first. So I just have an extra scrap piece of paper here that I'm going to put over top. I'll go ahead and just get a good amount of ink on the bottom of my stamp. And then I'm going to line that up with this top row right here. Just press down, make sure I have a good stamp, and then I'm good to go. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for down here and for the other side. I just grabbed a real quick extra small Pit Artist pen here to put in the dates of the calendar over here. So because I'm starting this on a little bit of like May into June, since I just want to see a few weeks ahead of time, I'm going to go ahead and start this calendar here on the 22nd, and then I'll take this all the way to the 31st. Feels kind of weird to get almost 2 months onto this calendar over here, but I do need a little bit of like a visual separator here. So I'm just going to use just another highlighter to kind of fill in the rest of the month for May, and then I'll just leave the rest open for June. All right, I like the way that looks too much not to just go with more color here. So let's go ahead and do June in this color. We'll split the calendar. All right, and I'll just go ahead now and just add in some detail for each of these days here. So we're gonna be starting on Monday the 23rd. And then I just added a next down here for that following week there. I'm not going to create any of these vertical lines. They kind of self-contain themselves both by page, but also the lines here on the side. So the only thing I really need to add over here is just going to be the month. Maybe I'll just write that right here next to it, and then I'll just create a quick header for the notes that's going to go over here. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to use some of the colored pencils here and just kind of fill in just a handful. We're not going to do them all, but just add a little bit of pop of color on some of these. All right, we have everything here for us. We have our Monday through Friday setup for each of the days of the week. We'll do rapid logging and tasks and everything inside of those dates. I do have another section over here just for notes if I need them, and a space over here on the right-hand side for any items or things to remember for the following week. And then we have our calendar up here too, which will take us for the rest of this week through May, but gives me a preview into June as well. So thanks so much for hanging out and planning along with me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Don't forget, if you like this video, you're gonna love the other Plan With Me's too. You can check them out right here and have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy planning.